I'm Dane Rose, and in this video, we're going to explore what you need to do as a Filipina to reliably create the kind of relationship that you want. Now, the key word there is reliably. And what I mean by that is you can easily, without doing hardly any work, particularly if you're young, just wait around. And biology will do the work, meaning if you are not overly fat and unpleasant in various ways, biology will attract men to you in one form or another. So when you're young, you will have interest because the nature of our bodies, the nature of life, is that in order for life to keep growing, to keep continuing, women need to have babies. And in order for women to have babies, men need to have sex with them. And so life has organized the biology of men, as well as women, to enjoy sex so that life continues. And the healthiest babies are when you're 18 years old. When you're 30 years old, your baby is not as healthy. You have higher risk of Down syndrome, you have various other health risks. So the healthiest baby is when you have a teenage body. And because life understands that, biology attracts men to women who are young, right? But that's just a biological urge. That's a desire to have sex out of a deep understanding that this creates healthy children. Now, if all you want to do is raise children as a single mother with an incompatible partner or alone, you can just let biology do its work. But if you want a compatible lover, if you want an honest lover, if you want someone who's supportive, who's a good father, then you have to do a lot of work. Now, in order to understand how much work you need to do, you need to understand the odds, the statistics. So all of the women that I meet, or 90% of the Filipinas that I meet as a single American, have children and have difficult stories of how other men have, gotten them pregnant and then left in various ways. Sometimes the woman leaves because the husband becomes abusive and starts spending too much money on gambling. Other times the man leaves. Other times the man was already married to somebody else, but then secretly had an affair, got the woman pregnant, then she finds out, and then she leaves, or he leaves, or the wife complains. This is 90% of the women that I'm meeting. And so that statistic is a little bit off because obviously if a woman meets a very compatible, loyal, healthy male and they have a family together, I'm not going to meet them, right? Because they're happily married together. So the people that, or the Filipinas that I meet, tend to be the women that failed to find that compatible man for a long time. However, if we look at, for example, divorce rates in the United States, more than 50%. If we look at how happy most married couples are in the United States, I would say 10%. Maybe 5% of married couples are really happy with the marriage. Now, in the Philippines, I think the satisfaction is a little higher. There's more of a family bonding, But let's just say for now that you have a 50% chance of having, a happy marriage when you meet someone, or just a good relationship. And in most cases, it's less than 50%. But let's just say that it's 50%, which is the same as flipping a coin, right? If you flip a coin, 50% of the time it's going to work, 50% of the time it is not going to work. Now, if a destructive relationship wasn't so bad, maybe this is okay. Maybe someone courts you, you form a relationship, and if it's a good, you have a 50% chance of that it's going to be good, well, you continue. If it's bad, you just stop it. The trouble is that it's not that simple. Many times you will have a baby with someone who's not compatible, who's not, a good partner, who's not a good father. And so you now have 18 years of suffering to raise that child on your own. So taking a 50-50 bet is not very kind to yourself, right? You want a 90% chance. You want a 90% chance or more that you're going to create a good relationship, right? Because a bad relationship can involve physical abuse, can involve loss of money, ruining a business, hurting a child, abusing several children, being lonely, getting an STD, catching HIV, right? A bad relationship has a big cost. So you don't want to just flip a coin and say, good or bad, right? And so what this video is about is showing you what you're going to have to do. Like, you could just get lucky, and that's great. You flip a coin and you get lucky. But what if you don't want to rely on luck? What if you want to create a successful, good relationship confidently, to know how to do it? Well, the first thing to understand is that you're going to need to be proactive. Rather than just waiting around for a man to come to you, you're going to need to be proactive. Now, proactive means that you take the action. You take the first step. So let's look at this, because sure, you can wait around and maybe a good person finds you and maybe a bad person finds you. Now, the first thing that you want to do proactively in terms of taking steps to find a good relationship is you want to be someone that you would like to be friends with, that you would like to be in a long-term relationship with. Meaning, if you lie, if you steal, if you borrow money and don't pay it back, if you're addicted to video games, if you're constantly eating sugar and getting fat, if you're lazy, well, why would a good person pick you? So your very first step in preparation is to become the person that you would pick, where you would say, if I was a man, I would pick me. Now, in the superficial culture, you might think that this is all about physical beauty, right? I need bigger breasts. I need to make my skin white. Interestingly aside, almost all of the Filipinas that I meet think their skin is ugly, which is crazy, because I think Filipina skin is beautiful, right? And so one of the interesting things about psychology is that people always think the other people are the beautiful ones, right? And so, for example, as an American, Filipinas have a good tan, right? So Filipinas are the beautiful one, right? Because they have a soft, warm, brown skin. It's very soft to touch. So Filipinas have the most beautiful skin. because it's the other race, it's the other country. But for Filipinas, they're doing the same thing. They're saying, no, 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 no. The white skin, that's the good one, right? So it's crazy, right? Everyone likes what they don't have. That's crazy, but it's how people work. But this is one good thing about dating an American or a foreigner, because you think they're very beautiful because they're different from you, but they think you're very beautiful because you're different from them. So both people win, right? So it's important to understand that what you think is ugly is very attractive to somebody else, to an American or a British or etc. Because brown skin is more interesting, it's more beautiful, it's more colorful than just white skin. So it always seems crazy to me when a Filipino thinks that they're ugly because they have dark skin, or spends money when they're poor trying to whiten their skin. So that's just an aside. But if you are, for example, a kind person, an honest person, a hardworking person, you might think, well, I'd like to be in a relationship with me, right? So that's the first step. Are you someone that you would enjoy being in a relationship with? Now, physical beauty is not the most important thing because it changes with time. You may be very beautiful at 18, you may be very ugly at age 50, right? So if you want a good relationship, you can't rely on physical beauty. You want to have qualities that don't that don't fall apart with time. Otherwise, if your only benefit is your physical beauty, then as soon as you get old, the man will want to pick someone new who's young. But if you are very intelligent, if you are very hardworking, if you are kind, right? If you have integrity, if you are a good communicator, these things can get better with age. You can learn more, you can grow more, you can heal more. So step one, become the person that you want to be. Why would you want to pick you instead of all the other people? Right? Why would you want to pick you? For example, I like the fact that I'm very creative. I design new ways of living, new ways of doing things. I'm practical, but I'm also very imaginative, right? I like the fact that I have a great eye, meaning I can design clothes, or I can design gardens, or I can design houses. And I can design food. I like creating and design. Now, I like being with creative people, and so I like being around me. Right? I'm also a very good communicator. If I think something, I speak it. I put it into words so that someone can understand me. And I like being with people who are good communicators. They feel something, they tell me about it, rather than just hiding, right, and not saying anything. Right? I like someone that takes action, right? And so I take a lot of action. I have achieved thousands of goals in my life. I've run my own business for 30 years. And so I like people that take action. They don't just dream, but they do something. So I like that, right? So if I was to meet 1,000 men, I would pick me a lot of the time for many things, because I have taken many steps over time to become someone that I like that kind of person, right? So I also do what I say. I never lie to friends. I never lie to a partner. I've never lied. I've had many lovers in different parts of the world. I've never lied to a lover. I've never lied to a friend, because I don't think it's good. I don't think it's practical, right? in the long run, you always find out lies and then the relationship goes down. But if you tell people the truth, then the relationship can keep going up, right? So I don't lie, and I like that. And so I also like people who don't lie. So this is a foundation. This is how you begin, right, to prepare for a good relationship. You become the person that you respect and that you like. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't like yourself, then do more. Work on yourself, develop yourself. Now, the second thing you have to do is develop the art of seeing. How do you see another person clearly? Well, you have to watch them. You have to look at their behavior. For example, right, people are usually kind to you when they want to have sex with you. But if you watch them, are they kind to a child? Are they kind to a poor person? Are they kind to someone who has no power? Right? Then you see that this is a kind person. Now, people are always honest when you are in public and everyone's watching, but you can also look at someone like, what do they do when nobody's watching? Do they throw plastic out of the window or into the ocean, or do they behave well even when no one is watching them? Right? So you have to learn to see someone. That's your first step. You have to learn to see. And you have to know what you're looking for, right? You have to know what you want. And you have to be able to see it. Now, if people don't write good profiles online, or you can't be around them, you have to learn to ask good questions. So you have to learn to ask lots of questions. And you're going to need to look at least 100 profiles, right? Well, let's say you look at 1,000 profiles. Let's say you look at 1,000 profiles and you pick maybe 100 that you think this could be the kind of man that I'm looking for. Now, one of the amazing things in spending years online with Filipinas is many do not read a profile. So they ask the same question, like my profile says I live in San Francisco, and they will write, where do you live? It's very boring. You just go over and look at somebody's profile, and you don't ask the questions that are answered in the profile. Instead, you ask questions that are not answered in the profile, right? So you have to ask good questions. And what you should expect is that 5 men out of 100 that you have chosen, that 5 will be interested in you and perhaps be compatible in some way. But you've got to find that out. You've got to read their messages, so you've got to have load in your phone. You've got to, if you don't know how to make money, you've got to learn how to make money, so that you can buy a phone, so that you can buy load, etc. Because if 10,000 Filipinas have load in their phone, and have a phone, and have a profile, and have a good profile, and you don't, then a man is going to be interested in one of those 10,000, because there's so many options. You have got to do the things that it takes to be, right, to be able to succeed in connecting online. So, right, many Filipinas do not fill out their profile. So I just delete them, right? They write to me and I think you are lazy. I don't want a lazy woman in my life, because it's very tiring to be with a lazy woman. A lazy woman doesn't talk. They think, but they don't talk, so you have to do the work to ask them questions. A lazy woman doesn't write out their profile, so you have to ask, how old are you? How many children do you have? Because they don't want to work to fill out the profile. So I know that I am hardworking, and I know that I enjoy hardworking people. So I delete anyone who doesn't fill out their profile because I say, thank you. You are telling me that you are lazy. Because if you do not have enough time and you do not have enough energy to fill out your profile or to look at my profile, you are too lazy and too busy to be in a relationship. So why should I waste time with you? So I delete that, right? And you must learn to communicate in a way that is better than average, which is not hard to do. The average Filipina online, you write a nice letter and they say, hello, how are you? They ignore the letter and they just say, hello, how are you? And it's difficult. Like if you ask someone, do you like dogs? And they ignore the question and they say, hello, how are you? You wonder, who are they talking to? I asked you if you like dogs. You're ignoring me. And I have to think, well, do I want to be in a relationship? Do I want my wife to ignore me? Do I want my wife to say, when I say, where is our child? She says, hello, how are you? No, that's not the answer. The question is, where is our child? Hello, how are you? No, this is too crazy, right? Do I want to be married to a crazy person? Do I want to be married to someone who can't communicate? Do I want to be married to someone who doesn't answer the question, but answers a different question? No, I do not want that, right? Because there are many intelligent women who can answer, who can talk, you ask them a question and they give you a good answer. So why not be with one of those women, right? So the better the man that you're trying to connect with, the better you need to be in order to be compatible. If you want someone who's honest, you need to be honest. If you want someone who is a good communicator, you need to be a good communicator, right? And so this is, always look at it from that point of view. A man has 10,000 Filipinas. Why will he pick you more than another one, right? If you're young and attractive, right? You look cute, well, then that will work biologically initially, right? But that's just to begin. That's just to have sex for the first time. But it will not keep a relationship together. Only your skills, only your character, your personality can do that, right? So you just need to be better than 50% of Filipinas to stand out a little bit, right? So in my email box, I have about 200 or 300 Filipinas saying, hello, how are you? Hi, Dane. That's it. So the problem is there's 300. Hello, how are you? Hi, Dane. Many have not looked at my profile, but this is a very boring way to begin. Now, if you want to stand out from 300 Filipinas who are all saying the same thing, for example, 300 Filipinas, I am a simple woman. I want a loyal man. Hello, how are you? That's it. I'm a simple woman. I want a God-fearing man who is loyal. I want a man who accepts me the way I am. Hello. Okay, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. Another simple woman who wants a loyal, another simple woman another simple woman saying hello, another simple woman who wants to be accepted the way she is. Oh, you are a simple woman who wants to be accepted the way she is. Don't we all? I want to be accepted the way I am, right? Everyone wants to, everyone, right? So how do you pick? How do you pick, right? Do you go for the cutest one? Right? How do you know, right? It's too many simple emails, letters, but no one is doing anything very intelligent. So it's very easy for you to rise above this list, right? 300 people saying hello. So how do you become different from those 300 people? It's very easy. Very, very, very easy. What you do is you take a moment to read the man's profile, and you say, hello, George. I noticed that you like basketball. I saw in your profile you like basketball. Do you play basketball or do you just watch it on TV? Looking forward to talking more with you, Rosie. That's it. You are now a better communicator than 300 Filipinas. The only one who's talking intelligently, who's talking a little bit clearly, right? You write to Fred. Hi, Fred. I see you have a dog. What's his name? What kind of dog? How did you pick that kind of dog? Can you send me a photo? Now you're the only one in 300 Filipinas, right? There's 300 simple Filipinas that want an honest man. It's so boring. A simple Filipina who wants an honest man. That's it. 300, 400, 500. Now there's one who's asking a good question. One who knows how to communicate. It's easy, and it can be you. If you are willing to be proactive, if you are willing to learn, meaning you can learn from me and you can be much more successful in your relating online, or you can be stupid, meaning you can continue to do what doesn't work for most people most of the time because you can't learn. Now, a good relationship requires skill. Both people have to be skillful. If you play tennis and one person can't hit the ball, you hit the ball, oh, where's the ball? You hit them another ball, oh, where's the ball? It's very boring. You cannot play tennis and you cannot succeed with that person. You need both people to know how to hit the ball. And the same is true in conversation. If I say, how's your job these days? And you say, hello. I've given you a ball and you haven't hit it back. You've let it fall on the floor. So I hit you another one. Like, do you like reading? You ignore it. So it just says, this person does not know how to have a conversation. But in 50 years of a relationship, you will have thousands of conversations. If someone cannot talk, then why do you want to have thousands of conversations with them? If somebody cannot play tennis, why would you play thousands of games of tennis? So they have to be able to hit it back. Now, you also have entitlement, right? Entitlement means you're lazy, you want the other person to do all the work. So you might write a nice letter to a Filipina, and she writes one sentence back. Or maybe next week or something. And you realize, she's a bit lazy, right? You write a nice letter, she writes one sentence back, is not very polite. And then you think, well, do I want to have 10 years of living with a woman who's a bit lazy, who's not very polite? And I say, nah, I don't want to spend 10 years with that kind of woman. So thank you for telling me that you are lazy, and I'm not going to spend more time with you. A good relationship partner does 50% of the work to grow the relationship. If you want, right? Like, do you want a lazy man who you do all of the work and they spend all of the money? No, it's a very boring relationship. You do the work, they spend the money, you do the work, they spend the money, and they don't thank you, they just take the money. It's very boring. It's not very fun. So you don't want that kind of a boyfriend. The same is true in reverse. A man doesn't like a woman who's lazy, who waits around for the man to make money, and that spends the money and doesn't thank them and doesn't give something back. Very boring. But how do you tell who is like that and who is generous and kind? You have to tell from the initial interaction. So if someone pays you a compliment and you don't say thank you, it means you're rude and too lazy to say thank you. That's okay. But does a good man with 10,000 Filipinas to choose from want a woman who's lazy and rude? Or does he want someone who's polite and makes an effort to communicate? Now, the same is true when you think of travel, right? Let's say I fly from San Francisco. I have to drive an hour to the airport. I have to pay 5,000 pesos to park my car. I have to pay 50,000 pesos for the plane, maybe 100,000 pesos. I have to pay another 5,000 pesos a night in Manila. Then I have to catch another plane to another place. I have to take time off work. I have to make time in my schedule. So maybe a trip to the Philippines costs me 1 million pesos in costs and time off work. And you invite a Filipina. I invite a Filipina to dinner, and she says, "Oh, I'm busy. Maybe next week." Well, right? It's not a balanced effort. If you're flying, for example, if you save up 300,000 pesos, you will need at least 300,000 pesos to come to the U.S. If you save up 300,000 pesos, you get a tourist visa, you fly to the U.S., you get a bus, you come to the man's house, and he says, maybe next week. You'll say, this isn't good. This doesn't feel good. I spend all this money. I come here, and they keep me waiting, right? So it's not balanced, right? But if someone comes to visit you that you like, and you make the effort, and it feels balanced, then they will feel, you are working hard to make the relationship work. Right? Every relationship takes time, it takes money, it takes skill, it takes energy, it takes desire. Two people have to work to create it. If only one person does the work, the relationship will fail. Right? So what I look for early on, and what any good man is going to look for, is, do you put in the work or are you lazy? For example, I often will test this by offering a Filipina a book. I will say, do you want to read a little bit of my writing? Well, most they don't want to. And I think, well, this is a bit crazy. You're looking for a husband, and you're interested in me, and I'm a writer, and you don't want to read anything about me. I think that's a bit crazy. So why would I marry someone who doesn't have interest in my passions and in my life? Of course I'm not going to do that. So 80% of Filipinas just go away immediately because they have no interest in learning about me. Or they say, okay, I will read something. And then 1 week goes by and they still have not read something because it takes a little bit of work to open the book and read something. So I think this is not a serious person. This is not a hardworking person. This is not someone who wants to learn. This is someone who is just there to play. Now, this is also where the gap between words and action is very clear, right? Because a Filipina always says, I want a serious relationship. But they don't read your profile. They don't say more than hello. They don't respond to a question. They don't want to read anything about you. They don't want to read a book. They don't want to reply quickly. So you want a serious relationship where the man is serious to you, but you are not serious to the man. Why will a serious man pick a lazy person who is not serious to them, right? So these are the things you need to understand as a Filipina, right? So only in 100 men, only 5 men will be the good fit for you. You need to find who they are. You need to talk with 100 men. You need to pick 5. You need to learn. You need to become someone that a good man will want to live with for a long time. You then need to show an effort, to show respect, to have skill, to show interest, right? To be there, to be available. And then you have to grow the relationship. You have to take time to see them. You have to ask them questions. You have to invite them to have experiences with you, right? If you do that, then one of those 5 men will be interested in you. And that's your partner. So how long does this take? Does this take 5 years, 10 years, right? At least 3 years. Meaning if you've never had a relationship before, and this is also a thing you need experience. In the Philippines, there's a lot of value placed on virginity, for example. But virginity is useless. And what I mean by that is it just means you have no experience. If you are a young woman with no sexual experience, with no conversational experience, with no cultural experience, and you don't have you don't know what you want, you don't know what you don't like, then you need a lot of experience and training to be a good relationship partner. You need someone to teach you. That's a lot of work. If you have had 5 boyfriends, and you know, I don't like this kind of boyfriend, but I like this, and I know myself, and I work hard, and I enjoy my sexuality like this, and I like a man like this, you are a very easy person to be in a relationship with. Because you have experience, you have skill, you are clear, you can communicate what you want and what you don't want. You enjoy your body, you know what you like. It's easy to be in a relationship with you. If you have a job to drive a bus, and you have 2 bus drivers, one is a virgin bus driver. They have never driven a bus, but the other one has 30 years of experience driving buses. And this bus driver is going to drive your children to school. Do you want the inexperienced virgin bus driver, or do you want the bus driver with 30 years of experience and a safe driving record? I want the person with successful experience. That's why when I waited until I was 26 years old to have my first girlfriend, because I wanted to learn how to make money. I wanted to learn how to live life. And then my first girlfriend was 58 years old. I was 26 years old. She was 58. And the reason that I picked her was she was a good communicator. She was an American, a good communicator, and she had had 100 boyfriends before me, 100 lovers. So I thought, she knows what she's doing. She has experience. Someone needs to know what they're doing in a relationship. If you have two idiots, what do you do here? I don't know. I have no experience. Do you? No, I have no experience as well. Well, we'll just guess, right? If you have two idiots, the car is going to crash, right? The bus is going to roll down a hill. The plant is not going to grow. If you have two farmers and no one knows how to plant rice, it's not going to succeed. You need one person with experience. And so my first relationship was with a 58-year-old woman who had a lot of experience, and I learned so much in that relationship. Then later, I have enough experience where I can teach somebody else what I know. I'm teaching you what I know, right? From 30 years of experience. So at least one person should know what they're doing and be learning. So this is a recipe. So plan on taking 5 years, right? And you can learn and you can have fun along the way, but plan on taking 5 years. Plan on making an effort to meet 100 men. Plan on carefully thinking about 5 men of the 100 that is really good and compatible for you that you like. Then work hard, make an effort, show interest, be a good communicator, right? Ask good questions. And at least one of those men will be interested in you. Maybe all 5 is interested in you and you're lucky. Then you can pick the one you like, right? And the next thing to understand is that in Western culture, right? In Western culture, if you're dating a foreigner, it's very normal for someone to date and then later get serious, and then maybe after some years get married, right? So dating means you spend time with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lovers. You get to know, I like this one in this, I like this one in this, I like this one in this. And you see, do you want to get more serious with 1 or 2, right? And you get more serious. And sometimes it works better to have 2 boyfriends. You have to be honest, you have to be truthful, but you can say, no, I like seeing you sometimes, and I like to see this other one sometimes. Right? You're a very funny person. I like your joking and stuff, but this one I have a really serious conversation with. So I like to do both, right? And maybe that's okay. Or maybe the man said, no, you have to choose, right? If you have to choose, maybe you want to choose, right? Then you choose. But this will be very normal in style for a Western relationship. Similarly, the man that you're meeting in the West may want to date several different peoples, maybe some in his own country, some in Filipina, and get the sense, does the man want to be serious with one person? Now, you may want him to be serious only with you from the first time, but first of all, it's a different culture. So that's one thing. But second of all, you may lose the man. For example, I will not lie to any lover or friend. right? But if someone is too fast to say, I want you to pick me and only me, and I don't have a chance to get to know them, maybe I just say, okay, I will not meet you because I need time to get to know you and see, do I want to get serious with you, right? So, right? So this is something to learn and to understand. And if you want someone to be serious with you and pick you, are you being the way that have you picked someone who is really compatible with you, where that's a good choice for them? Or do you pick someone, they will be more happy with another person, right? And then you push them to be serious, so they will get serious with the other person. So relationships, when they're good, are the most happy thing in the world, the best part of life. When they're bad, they're the worst part of life. That's why if you love yourself, if you value yourself, you will take the time to have a good relationship. You will learn the skills to have a good relationship. You will put the work in to meet the right man for you, right? And you will put the work in to be the right woman for that man. Now, you can do nothing and play 50-50, and 50% of the time you will have a terrible relationship with abuse and addiction and this and that, and that's okay. But if you want to be sure that you will create the good relationship with a good person, then this is the strategy that you can follow until you succeed. Maybe 1 year, maybe maximum 5 years if you do this strategy. If you don't do this strategy, what you're saying is, I don't care about my future, my life with someone. I will just see what happens. That's okay, but most of the time what happens is not very good. But most of the time, if you create it, if you put in the work, you can create something beautiful. Good luck to you on your journey, and thank you for listening.